From battling it out with Usyk to bring a historic unification bout to the ring, to potentially settling with Andy Ruiz Jr., Tyson Fury had to readjust his strategy just a few days shy of the unification bout he had almost lined up for April 31st. But Ruiz would be a worthy substitute, no doubt. Top-ranked promoter Bob Arum has confirmed that an official opponent is being considered for the Gypsy King, and Destroyer tops that list, though it's unsure whether he'll indeed be the next contender to go up against the 34-year-old WBC title holder. But considering Andy's top form as of late, including a stunning win by unanimous decision over Luis Ortiz in September 2022, the contender's chances are looking fairly high. Plus, he's been working his way up the league in a short time, receiving a call by the WBC to take part in an elimination match with Deontay Wilder, which unfortunately failed to take place as the Bronze Bomber set off to face former UFC heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou instead. With the final eliminator out of the window, at least until Wilder hashes it out with Ngannou, the Destroyer could be in for a shortcut to the title fight against the Gypsy King. It wouldn't be that one-sided either, especially after Ruiz Jr.'s underdog win over superstar Anthony Joshua in the middle of 2019. While the British champion eventually got back his titles in a rematch with Andy some 6 months later, it was a sign of his remarkable determination that the Mexican even took the match at such short notice.
I just think where I was hit on the side of the head, where I weren't starting at the races already, I was a bit, was thinking, nah, man. And it was just too much of an uphill struggle at the time.
Though he might have jumped the gun a bit too quickly, admitting to being underprepared for the rematch in a brief span of 6 months only. With Ruiz back in action now though, as his performance against Luis Ortiz showed everyone, it might be time to step up the competition. And there's no one better than Fury at the moment. The buzz gained by his heavyweight unification bout with Alexander showed just that. As fans, they couldn't anticipate anyone but Usyk as a challenger who's fit for the Gypsy King. But as the talks collapsed between them, it also raised the difficult question of trying to find the best challenger around for the WBC King. Not that there aren't boxers lining up to knock at his door. Leading the charge is Andy Ruiz now, which gives him the power to shape the future of the whole division, especially as Tyson's next matchup directly affects a lot of other careers.
I already done one Ukrainian Klitschko, didn't I? And I'll do you as well, Gappy Teeth. You ugly little man! You ugly little man!
Starting with Anthony Joshua, who had previously lost his belts to Usyk and a rematch later. He must have been hoping for Fury to get moving and knock Alexander down a level. But it seems as if Andy would be the one to shake things up in the division now. And he's leaving no stone unturned to make that happen. From sharing a picture showing a poster of him posing with Fury for a fight, to receiving a "Let's do this" from Fury in a caption reposted with the picture. It seems that Andy's all in for this matchup. Unfortunately, fans aren't so enthusiastic about the whole affair, calling on him to scrap the rumors and finalize a match with AJ, and leave foreign fighters like Usyk for later. A bout in the UK between two homebred fighters seems much more appealing to the fans. Or there's no point in carrying out endless negotiations that lead nowhere. Either he gets a high-level fight in place and negotiates in good faith, or he might as well retire and vacate the title to make space for other, more active fighters. The Gypsy King and his hardball negotiations are said to have broken down the last deal with Usyk, so it should be up to him to lower his purse or at least try to bring someone like AJ to the table. Even as the debate rages around a homegrown battle between AJ and Fury, it's also worth pointing out that Ruiz once demolished AJ in a stunning wipeout of his titles in August 2019. While he couldn't hold on to them for a long while, it does make him a more than credible opponent for Fury. That doesn't mean Andy's battles will get any easier in order to make the fight happen.
I conquered Mount Istan, yeah. I wouldn't say it was easy peasy, it was very challenging. 6 mile up a mountain is always challenging, it's always gonna be challenging. But again, it's all in the mind, it's determination over anything else.
You know what, I don't feel I was super hurt, because when I got dropped, he hit me with a good right hand, and I took it like a champ, but I got up, man, and I just throwing bombs.
Starting with his lack of market value. Essentially, the comments about the Mexican's weight, plus his lack of conditioning in southpaw, are all things that paint him as a boring fighter, especially when compared to someone like Fury, who's known for his incredible stamina, and for making even fight negotiations exciting. Fury's as exciting a boxer as the world's ever seen, but it's a shame we haven't seen more of him around recently. As a fan pointed out, Ruiz could be the latest contender faced by the Gypsy King before his inevitable 20th retirement, and already a lot of time has been wasted negotiating a fight with the cat.
Because I was already loose, I was already in fight mode, so especially from having the heavyweight champion title, the opportunity to get that, it was amazing.
It was an incredible fight, man. It was incredible.
Yeah.
This has meant significant time out for the charismatic Irish heavyweight, who hasn't seen the inside of a competitive ring after his trilogy bout and triple straight victory against Derek Chisora in December 2022. With Del Boy all done and dusted, the Gypsy King asserted his supremacy over boxing for good. It was a victory for the ages, it seemed, since the 34-year-old champ hadn't had much luck finding other opponents willing to take him on, and the drama that led up to it raised expectations even further. These included a highly publicized face-off with the Usyk, which raised hopes of a fight in December between the Irishman and the Ukrainian heavyweight.
We try to make the big fights when it's time to make the big fights. And I mean, think about this. Tonight on the prelims, you saw 11-0 versus 10-0 on the prelims.
After numerous rounds of negotiations, the idea was knocked out, much to the despair and disappointment of fans eager for a return to the ring for their favorite fighter. In between all of this, Fury was also toying with the idea of a crossover battle with the Predator from the UFC. Before that fight, it also landed in Wilder's purse. Safe to say, Fury has been virtually retired for a while now, but the power hitter Andy Ruiz may come to save the day, and it couldn't come quick enough for both Ruiz and Fury's fans. The Destroyer's had his eyes on Fury for a long time. In fact, the WBC champ is on the Mexican-American so-called retirement hit list of fighters he'd like to face before he retires. As confirmed by Ruiz's father Andres, they're hoping for a May 5th matchup on the Day of the Mexicans. If the chips fall in place, with the timelines coinciding perfectly, there's no question about Ruiz accepting the greatest opportunity of his career so far. With his 2-fight win streak over the last 3 years, combined with the radical changes he's made to his training camp in recent years, you can guess that he's been gearing up for this chance for a while now. If these behind-the-scenes operations didn't make it obvious, Andy's social media makes it all too clear, with statements like, "My time will come," showing he hasn't quite reached the peak of his career yet. Maybe that peak comes with facing Tyson Fury. As Andres Ruiz announced on behalf of the Destroyer, Andy has some good fights left, including a potential trilogy with Joshua, a face-off with Usyk, and hopefully a showdown with Wilder too.
My purpose for that fight was, am I fighting Wilder next? The purpose for that fight was, what is he doing next? It wasn't solely on winning that fight. Do you know what I mean? So this is quite an interesting situation we can talk about now, looking back on the result.
As a massive favorite in his recent fights, he didn't quite perform at the same level as that famed night with Joshua, which had made Andy the unified world champion. If he wants a path to redemption, it would likely go through Tyson Fury. On the other hand, Ruiz would be doing Fury a favor by giving him and his fans a match to remember. After all, Arams confirmed him as potentially the best available guy for him to fight this summer in the UK. And that's all for Tyson Fury's potential summer showdown with Ruiz.